We,
we,
the people of India,
the people of India,
having solemnly resolved
having solemnly resolved
to constitute India
to constitute India
into a sovereign,
into a sovereign,
socialist,
socialist,
secular,
secular,
democratic republic,
democratic republic,
and to secure
and to secure
to all its citizens
to all its citizens
justice,
justice,
social,
social,
economic,
economic,
and political, liberty of thought,
liberty of thought,
expression,
belief,
faith,
faith,
and worship, equality of status, and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring dignity
the dignity
of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. We do hereby give to ourselves this constitution.
Thank you, sir. Please be seated. Thank you. I humbly request Honorable Governor, sir, to deliver his valuable message on the occasion of 74th Constitution Day.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my warm greetings to you all. It gives me immense pleasure to participate in today's program organized to celebrate the 74th Constitution Day. As you are all aware, the Constitution Day is also known as Samvidhan Divas. Is celebrated on 26th November every year to commemorate the adoption of the Constitution of India and to honor and pay tributes to Bharat Ratna Baba Saheb Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and the founding fathers of the Constitution for their great contribution. The people and the nation are indebted to the framers of the Constitution for giving us the noble principles on which we derive our freedom and equality and maintain harmony in the society. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Chairman of the Drafting Committee, is the Chief Architect of the Indian Constitution, which provides a comprehensive and dynamic framework to guide and govern the country. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is believed to have studied the constitutions of about 60 countries before preparing the statute of the world's largest democracy. The Constituent Assembly adopted the Indian Constitution on 26th November 1949 and it came into effect from 26th January 1950. The National Constitution Day is celebrated not only to commemorate the adoption of the Constitution of India, but also to promote Constitution values among the citizens. The process of drafting of the Indian Constitution began in 1946 in anticipation of country's independence, when the country was passing through a great turmoil. The Constituent Assembly went about its task to create a constitution not for a nation but virtually for a civilization, which was a Herculean task that came with a greater responsibility. The drafting committee had to adopt a balanced approach as it was meant to address the aspirations of the hugely complex and heterogeneous population. Many world leaders considered India's constitution as a miracle. The Indian constitution is the cornerstone of the nation as it lays the foundation of governance of our nation. Our constitution is one that was crafted with great foresight. The founding fathers wanted the constitution to be an adaptable document rather than a rigid framework for governance. The constitution gave a place of permanence to the fundamental freedoms of the citizens. In giving the constitution to themselves, the people had reserved the fundamental rights for themselves. The fundamental rights granted to the citizens under the constitution are sacrosanct and transcendental in importance. The preamble of the constitution sets forth the 5 characteristics and 4 objectives, which include the concept of sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and the objectives of justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. All the above key characteristics enshrined in our constitution perfectly summarize the essence of the core values of India and highlight the prevailing basic principles in the socio-political context and fulfill the needs and demands of the citizens. Values such as integrity, transparency, accountability, impartiality, public welfare, and equity are the guiding principles of Indian Constitution. During the time of its creation, these values were curated in such a way that citizens of India could feel empowered. Therefore, the essence of the Constitution lies in the words, "we the people," which implies that the ultimate source of the Constitution is the will of the people. Every country has a constitution in place which outlines and aggregates the country's fundamental principles and governance structure. Our constitution makes up the core of the country's existence and binds together the country's diversity and distinct cultures, empowers and safeguards the rights and liberties of the citizens while maintaining an effective balance between the organs of the government. The doctrines laid down in the Constitution limit the concentration of power into the hands of a single governing body and keeps a check on its misuse by the authorities. The core values of the Indian Constitution that constitute its spirit are expressed in a number of articles and provisions. The Indian Constitution is remarkable for many outstanding features it contains that make it different from other constitutions, even though many of its provisions are borrowed from the constitutional framework of other nations. The framers of the Constitution deserve the credit for gathering the best features of the constitutions followed by other nations and modifying the provisions to suit our needs by eliminating the inherent flaws in those provisions. The Indian Constitution guarantees fundamental rights to its citizens, which are not absolute but are subject to reasonable restrictions. Fundamental duties are incorporated through 42nd Amendment, which impose a moral obligation on the citizens to perform these duties, even though they are not enforceable legally. The Constitution spells out rights and duties of the citizens. The Constitution empowers the citizens by protecting their rights, and the citizens empower the Constitution by adhering to their duties. Fundamental duties enjoins upon the citizens of India to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India, and ideals and institutions included in the Constitution. Citizens should live in a spirit of common brotherhood, transcending religious, linguistic and regional diversities, to renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women, develop scientific temper, and preserve our rich cultural heritage. Another important feature of the Constitution is the directive principles of the state policy, which are fundamental principles for the governance of the country, and it shall be the duty of the states to apply these principles in making laws, and imposes a moral obligation on the states for their adherence. Rule of law is yet another important feature of the Constitution, which implies that no man is above the law, and all individuals are subject to the jurisdiction of the ordinary courts. Absence of arbitrary power is the first essential feature of rule of law, upon which our whole constitutional system is based on, and governance must be by rule and not arbitrary, vague, and discretionary means. Gravel Austin, an American scholar, said about the Indian Constitution, and I quote, "The Indian Constitution is the first and foremost a social document," unquote. The Constitution lays down the national goals of our country: democracy, secularism, socialism, and national integration. The Constitution is not just a legal document, but a living document, and also a social and political document that reflects the changing aspirations and needs of the people of India. It's a document that is constantly evolving and adapting to the changing needs of the society. Make it a living document. Before concluding, let us recall the wise words of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, father of the Constitution, who said, and I quote, "However good a constitution may be, it is sure to turn out bad because those who are called to work it happen to be bad lot. However bad a constitution may be, it may turn out to be good if those who are called to work it happen to be good lot," unquote. On the National Constitution Day, let us cherish the spirit of the Indian Constitution and be guided by the values and principles enshrined in it. Thank you all. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Now I request all the dignitaries to please rise for the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Thank you, one and all.